Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.
Me on your Friday. You want to take a little trip, maybe Mexico? How's that sound? Well, probably will sound a little less great once you see this video here. Let's head to Mérida, Mexico, where you can see the flooding that was going on there. This is in the northern Yucatan Peninsula area. The rain that they were seeing from this tropical system that we've been keeping an eye on, causing some flooding issues. You can see the cars there, the motorcycles running through that water, and this could be a similar scene that we're seeing along the Gulf Coast by the time we get to tomorrow morning, even late tonight, as we are going to continue to see that tropical moisture building in. So what's going on with PTC3 right now? Well, we've got winds at 35 miles an hour, so just below that tropical storm classification, moving north-northeast at 14 miles an hour, so it has picked up some speed. It's just a little more than 200 miles south of Morgan City, Louisiana, and that is expected to continue lifting north. We do have tropical storm warnings in effect from intracoastal city, Louisiana, including New Orleans, the Lake Pontchartrain area included in that, and that is stretching to the Okaloosa, Walton County line there in Florida. So Pensacola, you are included in that tropical storm warning that we're seeing there. So here's what we're looking at in terms of the forecast. The current forecast does have the winds at 40 miles an hour. That would bring at least the winds to tropical storm force, bringing it onshore somewhere around the southeastern coast of Louisiana, and then it's going to kind of round the ridge that we have going on, get picked up in some of the upper level flow and race off to the north and east into portions of the Tennessee Valley as we head through the weekend. So this is going to be a big weather maker for our Father's Day weekend. So what's going on with this system right now? It's not looking all that tropical system-y, right? Well, that's because we've got a serious asymmetric structure going on because of wind shear. The wind shear in the Gulf right now is absolutely really putting a lid on how much this is being able to strengthen. We've got a little dry air around, but you'll notice over the past several hours, we are seeing a good bubbling up of those cloud tops, tons of moisture in place with this, and all of that moisture transport, well, it's heading northward. We're already starting to see some of those rain bands lifting into the northern Gulf Coast, just absolutely swamped for, say, Grand Isle, Louisiana right now, and that plume of tropical moisture is going to continue lifting northward over the next several hours. Here's what we're looking at. We've got winds with a southerly component to them in New Orleans, a southeasterly component there in Gulf Shores. All of this is going to come together to also bring us some coastal flooding issues as well. When you've got that persistent onshore flow, that tends to bring you that possibility for some storm surge flooding. The storm surge that we're seeing right now, almost up to a foot there in Berwick. We're at a foot in Pilot Station East there across the southeastern, the extreme southeastern portions of Louisiana. Dauphin Island, we're still at 0.3, but this will continue to increase as we continue with those onshore winds. So this is the potential storm surge along the coast, the central Gulf Coast here from intracoastal city to that Fort Walton, Okaloosa County line that I was talking about. 2 to 3 feet possible. Of course, Lake Pontchartrain, something we have to watch too, 1 to 2 feet possible there. So storm surge is going to be a player in what we're dealing with this system. That's something to keep an eye on. Hey, let's head to New Orleans now because you are included in that tropical storm warning. Looking out over the Mississippi River. So in this shot, we're looking, I'd say, roughly east, southeast-ish, looking out over the Mississippi there, and you can tell that the clouds have built in. Right now, we've got dew points in the 70s. It is a muggy air mass, and that rain, the waves of rain, going to continue in New Orleans as we head through the day, and that is going to add up. And this is going to bring us impacts in terms of the possibility for some coastal flooding, even some urban flooding. New Orleans already has those issues with the flooding just regardless, so throw in some abundant tropical moisture, throw in the fact that you're more than a foot above average there in the Big Easy for your rainfall, and you guys have that flood problem for sure with this system. So we're looking at the bulk of 3 to 5 inches from extreme southeastern portions of Louisiana up that 65 corridor. Point this out to you. Here's I-59 through Hattiesburg, and you'll notice especially east of I-59 is where we're getting some of the predictions for some of the heaviest rainfall. Because of that, flash flooding could become an issue today through tomorrow for Grand Isle, through New Orleans, Gulfport, Mobile, Pensacola, all included in that. But Baton Rouge, I don't want you to sleep on this possibility for flash flooding either, because the ground is still going to be saturated there, and all it takes is one of those kind of bands to set up and keep that very heavy rain in the forecast. So here's what we're looking at today: that possibility of some damaging wind gusts, but also the possibility of an isolated weak tornado. When you have these tropical systems, especially along the coast, at times you can get those tropical tornadoes because of the different types of winds in the different levels of the atmospheres. So we do have a torcon of 2 along that I-10 corridor. Mobile, you're in that. We're stretching that to Panama City, all the way back toward near Morgan City as well, though. So do be cognizant of that. As mentioned, with these tropical systems, you do sometimes get those tropical tornadoes. They occur as the system comes on shore. A lot of them, again, are weak and short-lived, but nonetheless, especially on the eastern side of the center of this system, we certainly could be seeing some of those tornadoes, and they definitely can do enough damage to damage your roof, to take down some trees. So I want you to be really careful with that and just be cognizant of the forecast. Tomorrow, we've got that possibility for some severe weather again from Hattiesburg through Evergreen. We're stretching that into extreme western portions of South Georgia, and we're stretching that toward Apalachicola in Florida. So again, the severe storm chance continuing tomorrow, and that risk for some flash flooding where you see the yellow, that is likely. So places like Montgomery, Evergreen, Mobile, again, that possibility for some of that flash flooding Saturday into your Sunday. I know it's not the news you want for your holiday weekend with Dad, but nonetheless, that is what we're going to get. Now, with that, we do have that possibility for, of course, some flooding. We are going to see that possibility for the damaging wind gusts as well. So let's talk about that in terms of what can the damaging wind gusts do.
Weekend Recharge. I'm Paul Goodlow.
And I'm Felicia Combs. America's weekend depends on the weather, as we know. Your dreams of getting into the out there this Sunday could be dashed by some summertime storms.
Let's get right to your Sunday snapshot. Try to find out where those storms are firing up. Storms from last night still slowly rolling here across parts of the Texas-Oklahoma Panhandle. Expect those to fire back up as we head later on to this afternoon, this evening.
Yeah, pretty quiet across the southeast right now, but that will be changing. Got a couple different fronts that are going to spark up a couple different areas across the eastern portions of the country of showers and storms. Some of those could have a little bit of a bite to them later on.
Pacific Northwest seeing some rain showers, keeping you cool. 66 in Seattle, but south of there, the heat is on and popping. Record heat. And you talk about the Southwest having record heat, you know it's extremely hot. 114, maybe 117 in some of the deserts out here. It is scorching.
Yeah, definitely hot there. Now, as we look toward the mid-Atlantic, a place like New York, you're actually a little bit below average, so completely different story there. But much of the country is above average right now.
And also, we're seeing a lot more rain. In fact, rounds of heavy rain and storms are set to swamp cities across the north.
Dangerous. That's why we have these heat alerts. You know, the National Weather Service offices, they have the ability to issue these alerts because that is something that you need to know, that it's going to be a dangerous situation. So when you see these excessive heat warnings and these excessive heat watches that are going to be going into place as we move through the week and staying in place through the middle part of the week, you need to heed that. You need to pay attention to it. For today, the forecast in Phoenix is 114. The old record is also 114, so we could see a record tied there, a very old record. In fact, a nearly 100-year-old record there in Tucson expected to be broken today with that forecast of 112 and the old record being 110. We've still got that dome of high pressure in place. That is that sinking air under that high pressure. It's sinking, it's compressing, it's heating. It is hot. Hot just doesn't feel like it's impactful enough, but it's very, very hot. How about that? Temperatures well above average, 90s up to 110 degrees across portions of the desert Southwest. Dozens of records are in danger of being broken as we head through next week, so the heat is here to stick around. Paul.
Well,
here's the radar truth of it. So Panama City Beach, you've got that storm moving in now, already smacked Laguna Beach. That's going to continue traveling down 30, and that's going to make its way into PCB. Tons of lightning. We're talking about, I'm surprised we weren't seeing lightning in that shot, actually. But yeah, tons of lightning rocking Southport right now. And these are going to be the kind of storms that we continue to see bubbling up across portions of North Florida as we move through the day today. So let's time it out for you. Here is Apalachicola, seeing some of those storms eventually moving through the Big Bend area of Florida, Tallahassee, Cross City, all getting in on this. Now, Tallahassee, I do think that you're going to have a break in the rain and storms as we head through the late afternoon and early evening. So if you're trying to make dinner plans in Tallahassee, I actually think you should be okay. Now, I'm not saying you might not get a little bit of a sprinkle, but it's not going to be the type of storms that we're seeing as we move through the early part of the afternoon. So you plan your dinner plans all in Tallahassee. You should be
okay, especially if you don't mind a little sprinkle as you're going to dinner. So here's what we're looking at. Columbia, you have that chance for some storms bubbling up as we head into the middle part of the afternoon. Charleston, waves of rain for you, as well as Lake City. And look at how everything blossoms as we head into the evening. Completely different story from Myrtle Beach down through Lake City and Charleston and into Columbia. You guys are going to have that rain around for most of your evening, even into the early overnight hours. So do make sure, if you're trying to plan out your Saturday night in Columbia, that you keep that in mind. Raleigh, not as much action for you, maybe a few stray showers here or there, but toward the coast, places like Wilmington and the Outer Banks, a better chance for more of those passing showers and storms. And of course, the weather, it's that time of year, Molly, where it's playing a big role in those outdoor activities.
We always got